If you are a homeschool mom who is faithful, prayerful, and still exhausted, I want you to know right away, this video is for you. Because I want to say something gently, but really I want to be clear. Working harder is not the same thing as having direction. And I think that a lot of good, faithful women have quietly confused those two things. Not because they're lazy or unfocused, but because they care deeply about doing what's right. If you've been doing everything that you know how to do and you still feel tired, you're still scattered, and you're unsure where your effort's actually supposed to go, that does not mean you're failing. I have been there, okay? More than I would care to admit. It doesn't mean you're failing. It might just simply mean that you're lacking clarity, not faith. I know that you have faith, so let's look for the clarity. Effort is not your problem. Most homeschool moms I know are some of the hardest working women I have ever met. Like, you get up early, you stay up late, you teach, you manage, you plan, you cook, you nurture, you correct, you pray, you hold everything together. I know this because I am you. I am this. And on top of that, many of you are also trying to contribute financially, or at least figure out how, without sacrificing your family, your health, or your faith. So if you're tired, it's not because you haven't been faithful enough. But here's where things can kind of quietly start to break down. We're often taught, sometimes subtly and sometimes explicitly, that more effort is the solution to uncertainty. Try harder, add one more thing, be more disciplined, push through. But Scripture doesn't show us a God who leads his people through confusion and chaos just to test their endurance, right? God is not a God of confusion. He says that that's explicitly in the Bible. Our God leads with wisdom. He gives direction. He goes before his people, which means that exhaustion isn't a badge of spiritual maturity. So, direction does something that effort alone never could. Direction reduces noise. Now, I just want to say, I was just driving home on really slippery roads. And it was just as the sun was setting, and it had been snowing all day. And my kids, we had praise music on in the car, and I was like, and I turned the praise music off. And the kids are like, why are you turning it off? I'm like, shh, I want everybody to be quiet, please. And my youngest, she was like, why do you need it to be quiet? I said, I'm trying to focus. I want to hear what I can hear on the road, because it was actually just glazed. The road was just a glazed ice thing, right? I want to feel what I can feel. I just one of my kids come and actually say, what are you doing? Anyway, I reduced the noise so that I could hear and understand and focus, right? When we have direction, we don't have to consider every option. We don't have to chase every idea. You don't feel guilty for saying no to things that aren't yours when you have direction. And direction also protects your energy. Not because you're doing less, but because you're not wasting effort anymore on things that never were meant to be your assignment. And direction can restore peace. Peace doesn't come from finishing everything. Peace comes from knowing where your effort belongs. This is especially important for homeschool moms because our margin is already limited. When you try to carry income ideas and family life and faith and responsibility without clarity, everything starts to feel heavy. Even the good things. And eventually, exhaustion makes it harder to hear God clearly. not because he stops speaking, but because noise drowns out wisdom. Here's something I want you to really sit with. In Scripture, God almost always gives direction before he gives provision. He tells Abraham where to go. He gives Moses instructions before deliverance. And he leads the Israelites step by step, not all at once. But culturally, we're often taught the opposite. We're told to chase that provision first and to grab opportunities quickly, to try just one more income idea, one more strategy, one more thing, just in case this one works. I've done it. Hey, you've done it. And that approach is actually kind of quietly training us to rely on urgency instead of God's wisdom. Trying random income ideas isn't the same as faith. A lot of times it's desperation that we kind of disguise as diligence. It's not that we're doing bad things or we're trying to do bad things. But faith looks like waiting for clarity and then stewarding it well. And I don't mean just sit and wait for the rest of your life. Sometimes the obedience step is action, but it has to be what God's calling you to do, what you have peace about. One of my mentors often will say, the light is green until it's red. So that's not urgency. That's just am I in alignment with God? Is what he's showing me is the next step? Do I feel a check in my spirit? No? Okay, well then I want to go ahead. Stewardship doesn't mean doing everything. It means doing the right things on purpose. If you've been asking God for provision, but you're feeling scattered instead of guided, it might not be because you're asking for the wrong thing. It might be because clarity needs to come first. This is actually why I created the guide that I've been mentioning here and there. Okay, I made a homeschool mom's first product. My brain isn't even collecting the title right now. Forgive me. I'll drop it in the description. But I created a guide. Why? Not because women need more motivation, or not because they need yet another hustle idea, but because so many faithful homeschool moms are carrying effort without direction, and it's costing them peace. And the guide I made is really small, it's really practical, it's not a program, and it's not a promise of instant results. What it is simply a place to just slow down, pray, think clearly, and sort through where your effort is actually meant to go. Some women just need clarity. Others eventually want to build something longer term. And both are valid. Both require wisdom, not pressure. And what I want to do is help moms take what they already know and steward it well, and maybe use what they have, what's in their hand, in a way that blesses their family, that God is calling them into. And it honors the calling they have, and it honors where God's placed you and what he's put in your hand. And if this conversation is giving language to something that you've been feeling, but maybe you just couldn't really name, I want you to hear this. You are not behind. You are not lazy. You are not failing. And clarity is not a lack of faith. Very often, clarity is the fruit of faith. God does not require you to strive endlessly just to prove your obedience. He leads. He directs. And he is patient with his daughters, and I'm so thankful he is. If you're faithful and tired, there might simply be an invitation to stop spinning and just sit quietly and listen again. Thank you for being here. I want you to remember that you're not alone in this.